My name is George Fair. I'm the Dean of the School of Interdisciplinary Studies and Vice President for Diversity and Community Engagement, and welcome to our lecture series. Welcome to the UT Dallas Veterans Lecture. This program is presented by the Office of Diversity and Community Engagement with the cooperation and help and sponsorship also of the Veterans Service Center under the leadership of Lisa McNamee. Today's lecture is part of an ongoing series sponsored by Office of Diversity and Community Engagement to facilitate campus-wide dialogue about a variety of diversity and inclusion topics. It is our goal that UT Dallas continues to strive to be, without exception, a welcoming, inclusive, and discrimination-free community where each person is respected and treated with dignity. Across the nation, we celebrate veterans and recognize historic and current contributions that have been made for our freedoms. Today, two veterans, KeeShaun Coffey and Mike Rials, will share their personal stories and myths related to the signature wounds of the nation's most recent wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and traumatic brain injury, and how training the brain, like training the body, empowers warriors to master the most valuable weapon, the brain. So, without further ado, I'll present these two veterans to you.
Good afternoon. All right, we're going to try that one more time. I was prior military, so I really can't hear all that well. So let's try it one more time. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
All right, that's perfect. First off, can I have all veterans, or a spouse of a veteran, or a relative of a veteran, please stand up. If you have any connection to the military, please stand up. First, I want to applaud you and thank you for your support. Thank you all. So, as stated before, my name is KeeShaun Coffey. I'm with my colleague, Mike Rials. And when I was first told about the lecture series and if I wanted to speak here, initially I was like, you know what can I say that can impact individuals that are sitting within these four walls today? And easily I could have gave you a story from an external perspective on the transition of veterans dealing with PTSD and TBI. But what different is that than what you read in the daily paper or you see on the news every day with individuals that are struggling from invisible wounds of war? So the best way for me to kind of put it in perspective, what I'm getting ready to talk about today from an empowerment standpoint, is really my own internal transition. So I just kind of give a blanket statement out here. Some of the stories I do tell you today will be kind of vulgar. Some of them will have some imaging details that what I've experienced. And then some of it will just be kind of empowering and enlightening. Now, I'll tell you up front, I'm not a professional speaker. I don't go traveling the country getting paid for this. I just really speak from the heart and conviction. So I think that's really what separates me from other speakers that give a general lecture type conversation. So in order for you to kind of get yourself into the shoes that I stand in today, I'd like to mentally put you where I was at 5 years ago on June 23rd. And this is kind of where my story will kind of come out to you and say that. But only thing I ask, I'll respect you, you respect me. No tweeting, no Instagramming, no Facebook, no laptop, a gigapet for those who know what that is in the 90s, none of that. Some people get that joke, some younger generations definitely will not. So, let me take you back to where it all began. I joined the Navy. I rode at Baylor University, football player. Was offered a scholarship, tore my shoulder, lost my ability to compete as a walk-on. And then from there, I was like, you know, I need to find a way to get my education. Was not getting ready to take out $60,000 loan to attend Baylor University. So I thought, you know what? My next best option is to join the military. My father was Army. I'm one of 5 siblings. All of my brothers were Navy. And so being the baby boy of the family, my father was hoping that I would join the Army. But the lobbying of my brothers like, hey, brother, if you want to see the world, you want to go have fun, you need to join the Navy. If you go to the Army, you're going to put you in the middle of nowhere, you're going to hate life. So I'll never forget telling my dad that I actually joined the Navy. And he was kind of a little disappointed because, you know, that Army lineage in the family just kind of dissolved with me. But it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. So my job in the military, I was a religious program specialist. And what that is I was personal security for the United States Navy chaplain. I also did last rites for individuals, and I also was in charge to manage the chapel. My first duty station was Washington, D.C. So 19-year-old kid in Washington, D.C., living off base. You can only imagine the time of life that I had. I was being away from home. I grew up. True story, this is the only time you can pick up your phone if you want to. I grew up in a small city called Ding Dong, Texas, outside of Queen, about 2.5 hours south of here. It's a great bar opener for anybody that goes too far. But most people don't believe me, so if you ever want to Google that, definitely Google that. You'll see that's Ding Dong, Texas. That's this. So, joining the military, joining the Navy, I was like, you know what? I want a job that I do not do anything. I'll be completely honest. I want to do something that all I can do is get my education. I won't do anything worth have to lift a hand, get to see the world. That was my intentions going into the military. So my recruiter said, you know what, well, you want to be an RP. They do not do anything whatsoever. That's a job you want to go on a ship. They get the chaplain out every now and then. That's exactly what you want to do. So I was like, you know what? Sign me up. I want to be an RP, religious program specialist. So I remember going through boot camp. Everybody's like, oh, you're going to be working with the chaplain. You're literally going to be next to God. So everybody's going to love you. But I remember going through boot camp. As an RP, have my mindset, I'm going to roll in school as soon as I get to my first command. But in the military, you have to go to something called A school, or like a technical school, so you learn your actual job before you actually go out to the fleet. And I remember I was sitting in a classroom, something similar to this, and we were going through the textbooks, and I came across one paragraph that really stood out to me that I had to raise my hand. So the paragraph said, in a place of war, you have to take a bullet for the chaplain. So you can only imagine me. I'm like, whoa. My recruiter did not say anything about taking a bullet to the chest for the man of God. But that was just kind of, the things that kind of had to go out the Navy. And I remember my first duty station, and I really checked on board. And my senior LPO was like, hey, I know what you were told in the fleet. Forget everything that you know, because everything is going to be completely different. They have to teach you the black and white just to get you through, just to get you to the fleet, so you can actually execute your job. So at Quantico, Virginia, the base chapel, the Marine Corps base chapel, was actually the head chapel for the Marine Corps. So you can only imagine a lot of the funeral services we did, a lot of the weddings we did there. And that was my first time truly being exposed to death, kind of on a 3 to 4 times a week, every other day type basis. I mean, growing up, I had relatives pass away, but I've never been in a position to where I was seeing death in a dramatic event, or when veterans committed suicide, or somebody taking their own life because of the wounds of war. Mind you, I'm 20-year-old at this time. So I saw death so much. We used to do last rites at the Bethesda Hospital. We used to do the funerals there at the National Cemetery, and I was kind of really done with it. You know, 21, 22, I'm getting ready to come up with orders, which means I have the ability to go to a new duty station. So I told my recruiter, I was like, sir, I just want to go somewhere where I'm away from death. I just want to actually be in the Navy, because at that time I was a FMF, which is Fleet Marine Force, so I got to serve with great guys like Mike Rials. I was like, you know what, I actually want to experience the Navy. I want to go overseas. I want to get in trouble. I want to get drunk just like any sailor does. I just wanted to have a true military experience outside what I was experiencing now, because all I saw was death, all I saw was anguish, all I saw was pain. I didn't see anything that happy that wanted me. That was initially my drive to go to the military. So I get my orders to Yokosuka, Japan. I'm 22. Now, the drinking age there is 19, so Japan is a very fun place, especially if you're not in the stateside. So I get there, I'm on board the USS Cowpens. We're the air defense for the USS George Washington. So what that really means is any inbound missiles, we're in charge of taking down any foreign threats whatsoever that may attack the 7th Fleet. And so with my skills that I learned in the Marine Corps, being stationed with Marines, leadership, principle, integrity, honor, courage, and commitment, my senior instructors on the ship said, hey, KeeShaun, you are a true role model when it comes to actually what a junior sailor should look like. Just because I learned so much determination on at the Marine Corps base Quantico. And so there was a guy on the ship, his name was Christopher Perino, who was dealing with the stresses of war. And I'm just going to kind of fast forward you to June 23rd, 2010. And so they said, KeeShaun, we want you to mentor this guy, because you bring on a leadership principle that most other sailors do not understand. I want you to mentor this guy, help him get along. You guys are around the same age. Do what you can. If you need any type of backup support, come to chat, come to your senior LPO, and we'll help this guy, because he was struggling pretty bad. So I took on the challenge. Me and Perino grew very, very close. And sometimes I still get emotional to this story, because I believe speaking about it is my true way of feeling. But on June 23rd, 2010, we were sitting in the ship's office on a ship. And on each military base, you have what's called colors. And colors is when they raise the flag and say, first call, colors. And so 5 minutes before, they'll blow a whistle. Somebody will come over to 1MC, say, first call, colors. And we heard a guy over in 1MC, and 1MC is kind of like an internal speakercom system. and saying first call colors, but something was different about his voice. His voice was crackling, so we thought it was a new junior man on board the ship, and it was his first time talking on Big 1MC. And from there, at 8 o'clock, you hear 3 whistles to let you know that colors has commenced. And then at 8:03, you hear 3 more whistles to let you know that colors is over. And so I remember distinctly sitting in the office, we hear the whistles go off, I'm talking to my chief, and we're going over the POD, which is the plan of the day. And then at 8:03, we hear our XO, just like the executive officer of the company, come over to 1MC and say, man overboard, starboard side. So to kind of let you know even further, we were in dry docks. And if you're not familiar with nautical term, dry dock is when they take the water from underneath the ship so they can work on the hull of the ship with the propellers. So we're in this big, vast cement block that's really holding the ship up. So the ship is about maybe 30 or 40 feet off the ground, but the bridge wing is about 250 feet off the ground. And so the XO comes back over. So we're looking at the plan on the day saying there's no way we have a man overboard drill because we're in dry dock. None of this is scheduled. So initially we thought it was a Japanese national that may have fallen off the side of the ship. And so if you're not familiar with international law for Americans, there's no such thing as a good Samaritan law for Americans. So if you see something traumatic happening, you're not allowed to touch a Japanese national. Just for whatever reason it may be. You cannot intervene. Even if you can save a person's life, you cannot intervene because there's no good Samaritan law for Americans there. So our XO comes back over the 1MC less than a minute later and says, this is not a drill, man overboard, starboard side. And so while I was on the ship, there's no such thing as calling 911 in the middle of the ocean if you're having a fire or some type of attack. So I was also a stretcher bearer. And a stretcher bearer is that equivalent to a EMT on the civilian side. And so I run to the starboard side of the ship, which is the right side of the ship. We're about maybe 100 feet up then. I look over, and there's a sailor face down in blue coveralls. I had no idea who the individual was. We were just, at that moment, just went into high gear. So I remember running off the pier of the ship, running about maybe 100, 125 feet down to the bottom of the dry dock. I'm the most junior person there. I was a third-class petty officer, and it was 6 other people. And I remember people in the back just distinctly saying, hey, get everybody on the inside of the skin of the ship before we return that sailor over. And so everybody's on the inside of the ship, and it's just me, junior man, at this individual's lower left part of his body, and we get ready to proceed to turn him over. So when I turned, I won't say I, but collectively as a team, when we turned Perino over, Perino fell about 255 feet face first in the cement. So he had compound fractures from the top of his head to the bottom of his feet. His face was completely split open underneath the bottom. His elbows were sticking out the side of his arms. His kneecaps were completely dissolved. His legs were literally shattered. So we could not get an IV on his arm because his hands were completely dismembered. His face was cut open. So they said, Coffey, see if you can get an IV on the interior of his left leg. See if you can get some type of fluid started before the ambulance got there. And so I remember undoing his boot, and when I went to pull Perino's boot off, his entire left foot came into my hand, so now I'm covering my best friend's blood. And he flew to Japan, and I'm 24 years old. So life has yet to hit me at that point. So then from there, I remember the ambulance showed up. We put him on the gurney. Perino really was not. He was dead. He was gone. He had a very faint heartbeat, very faint pulse. He was cold. He was wet. He was clammy because it rained the night before. And then the ambulance came. We put him on the back of the gurney. My other shipmates with me. We carried him on the gurney up to the top of the dry dock and put him in the back of the ambulance. We put him in the ambulance, he goes to the hospital, we get the official call that Perino was DOA, and then you can only imagine in the military, like some traumatic event happened here in Dallas, all the senior political officials that will send to Dallas to help whatever's going on. So that kind of exact same format happened in Dallas. Every big 4-star, 2-star, those are senior people in the military ascended upon our ship. Our ship was complete chaos at the time. Because nobody knew if it was one foul play, nobody knew if it was intentional, if it was accidental. It's just so many open questions that did not have any answers. So just kind of speed it up. I remember we went to the morgue because they were getting ready to ship his body out for processing. And maybe in a room as big as that little cubby over there, I went into the freezer, grabbed my best friend, pulled his body out because he was wrapped in plastic before they shipped him out, unzipped it, and kind of a light like this. It was me, Perino, his head here, his feet here, my chaplain on the other side. When I unzipped the bag, he still had the instruments poking out in his skin from where they tried to resuscitate him. You can still see all the open compound fractures. When I laid my hand on his arm, you could still feel the cold, wet cap. There's no life in his body whatsoever. That was my first time ever being in a traumatic event. I've seen death before, as I said, in Quantico, but to see it in a traumatic state, that was the first time I've ever seen something traumatic like that. So with me here, Perino, and my chaplain, I looked at my chaplain and I said, "Chaplain, this will be the last time I will ever do flash strikes ever again. I'm done. I'm done with the military." Because everything my admirations that I wanted to do, I wanted to accomplish, I accomplished nothing in the military. I started school, I got most of my undergrad done in the military, but I really didn't accomplish what I set out to do, which was getting my degree. So I'm processing out the military. I get out in November, and then they send me over to Washington where they do the actual out processing. And January, I start school here at UTD. So if none of you knew, I actually am a comic. So I do know how to swoosh, and I have this before. But I start school here at UTD. And the first face I run into when I get here is this guy right here. He was over at the student service building where they did veteran benefits. And I came in, met Mike. We just had a very general conversation almost 3 years ago. How was it? How are you doing? You know, what's going on? I told him briefly about myself, but there's something distinctly that military individuals can recognize within each other is one, when an individual is hurting but they're not saying it, and two, the character that that individual possesses. So going into the school life, JSON County, I attacked my coursework the same way that I attacked everything in the military career. All I did was attack it 100%, regurgitated information, really didn't understand what the professor was telling me. That's exactly what I was doing. So there was an event leading up to that. I didn't want to seek any help because I heard all the horror stories from veterans saying, "Don't go to the VA, they're going to drug you, they don't like you, they're just there to put a check in the box. The only thing they're going to do is throw money and pills at the situation." I really did not think about my brain health at all up until this point, until Mike Rials brought it to me. So he said, "Hey brother, there's a place downtown called the Center for Brain Health that you should check out. I'm not going to force you to do it. I will tell you they do have beautiful women there and you're single. So that is a reason for you to go, and that's a reason for you to get your feet in the door." But he didn't force me. He didn't literally push me in the door. He said, "When the time is right, you're going to go." And so fast forwarding, 2 semesters pass. I'm literally finding my ego is really my true driver and mechanic of my brain health. Let's be completely honest. I did not want to go seek help. I thought I could do everything internally. I was self-medicating. I was sleeping in my closet because I was having nightmares. I would call Mike and say, "Mike, how did you get over your nightmares? How do you deal with this?" I was finding my own ways to actually seek help instead of actually seeking professional guided help to help me get through my situation. And so right here on the backside of, I think, Synergy Park, I just finished an exam, literally just finished a final exam. I'm driving across, a young lady runs a stop sign, T-bones me. Police come, and it's like, "Hey, we have to take you to the hospital." I'm like, "No, don't take me. Those are my triggers. I hate the hospital. I do not want to go." It's like, "Mr. Coffey, you're pretty beat up. You have to go to the hospital to get checked out." So I go to the hospital. I'm right here at Richardson's Hospital, right there down the street on Campbell. And when I'm in the room, I'm literally in a room by myself, and I literally started to have my true first PTSD panic attack. Due to the reasons of, I felt as though I was back in the situation just like Karina was. Literally, mentally, everything started to block, and I started to see my best friend. I started to feel like I had no control of myself whatsoever. So you can only imagine, I ripped all the instruments I had in me. The IVs, the monitoring system, just ripped it all off, ripped my little gown off. I literally took out the beeline straight for the nearest door to get out of it. I wasn't safe in that position, or I wasn't safe in that building. I was safe in the classroom because I knew the layout of the land. I was safe in my house, in my closet, because I knew that was my safety zone. But when they forced me out of my environment that I was so used to coping with, using as a coping mechanism, I didn't know what to do, didn't know how to react. I had no professional ways of saying, "This is how you deal with triggers when they go off." So there's a 6'4" black guy with red Puma underwear running down the hall. True story, you can't make that up. It's greatest tapes. Hopefully TMZ doesn't get a hold of it. But there's this big black guy running down the hallway, just screaming. At that point in time, I wasn't crying. Really did not know what was happening to me. And I'm standing out there in the middle of the intersection and have police officers with the tasers and stuff drawn because, one, they don't know if I'm either coming off of a high, I was on drugs. They had no idea what was going on with me. And it was at that moment, that second, that day, that I broke down and actually cried from seeing everything that happened to me in the military. I'm literally sobbing. I was fortunate enough that the Richardson Police Department, they had veterans that were there with me. I said, "Brother, I've had bad deployments. I've seen a lot. I've never dealt with it. I'm just struggling." So they said, "Brother, you either A, you need to get some help, or B, we're going to spiral out of control and become a statistic." So that's when I called Mike Rials that day and said, "Hey, I don't know what I need to do, but I want to get involved in the program." And so going into the program, went through the PTS program, completely changed my life. I'm not here to kind of promote their program and say you need to do this, you need to do that. The man you see before you today was not the man that met this guy right here 3 years ago. And with that, I was fortunate, which we're going to kind of get into this right now. With that, I was fortunate to go through what's called a SMART program, Strategic Memory Advanced Reasoning Training. And when we go into this actual brief, I kind of give you an understanding what the Brain Performance Institute is and what the Center for Brain Health is. And then Mike will kind of go into the whole, this is what SMART is. And so with that, as I was a student here, I always struggled with my grades. I'm not going to stand here and tell you, oh, I graduated from UTD, magna cum laude, had 4.0. No, that was not me. I was not that ideal model student. I was struggling with my own issues and my own demons on the inside that I never dealt with. So with this program, the SMART program, it taught me how to re-engage information. Now here's a pretty crazy statistic, but the George W. Bush Military Service Initiative released stats earlier this year at the Bush Summit. 60% of veterans, their first year, fell out of college. 60%. So every 10 veterans in this room, 6 of them fell out, just statistically what they saw across the U.S. I was that veteran that was on academic probation here, getting ready to get kicked out. Pull my transcription and look at it, that was me. So I don't want to sit here and build a false hope saying every veteran that comes out, they come out very empowered, they come out motivated to start their own business, they come out, no. Every veteran that comes out, they all have their own path and it's very unique and delicate on how they deal with it. So sitting in accounting class, let me just backtrack a little bit. So I went through the SMART program. It was a 4-week program, I won't get into any details, but it taught me how to interact with information on a very abstract, high-level, detailed kind of type situation. And so one thing about our country, our city, our university, our community, we all move forward based on information. Information is what drives our society. Now, what makes our society better than somebody else's, or what makes our school better than somebody else's, or what makes our state, our city, our community, our families better than somebody else's, is how we process that information to help us move forward. So one thing that I always love to tell individuals is make sure your intentions are strategic, direct, and intentional. That's what motivates me every day. Every day I wake up, I make sure my intentions are strategic, direct, and intentional. Don't waste an opportunity. There are 82,400 moments in a day. If you don't understand what that is, seconds in a day. Every second you have, you should make sure that it's strategic, directional, and intentional. That's what moves you forward. And so with that, the Brain Performance Institute, just kind of hop into that and kind of tell you about my story itself. Over the last 10 years, we've really discovered more about the brain in the last 10 years than what we know collectively over the last 100 years. That is shocking. We are getting ready to send a man to Mars, yet we're just now really discovering what our brains can actually do. And that our brains are modifiable, we can repair them, non-invasive, non-pharma. We can actually we can retrain our brains. We can heal our brains naturally. And so with the SMART program, I know I'm kind of jumping back and forth, but I just want to be conscious of time. Like I said before, it taught me how to think strategic. So in accounting class, I took the strategies that Mike's going to go over, and I applied it to my accounting classes. I was a C student. If I got a B+, I was down on Knox Henderson celebrating because that was a true motivational moment for me that I accomplished something. But actually going through the SMART program and teaching myself and understanding how my brain is scientifically wired and operated to work was the first time I ever made A+ and A- in this university, ever. In my collegiate history, ever. First time. So imagine a veteran that had all these struggles going up to this point, came in contact with a veteran that he didn't even know, was placed at a center that he didn't even know of, and is now making A+ and A- at the University of Texas at Dallas. So, what is the Center for Brain Health? The Center for Brain Health is the Neuro Research Center for the University of Texas at Dallas. So when it comes to Alzheimer's, dementia, ADHD, PTSD, TBI, we do research to find how can we help the community at whole. And so our chief director, Dr. Sandy Chapman, said, you know what, it's great we're doing research, but if a research goes on a bookshelf, what are we actually doing to impact the community at large? Nothing. It normally takes research on average 20 to 40 years to go from the shelf to a funder to the market to help individuals at large. So she said, you know what, that is unacceptable. Why am I doing all this research and it cannot impact the community? And so they formulated the Brain Performance Institute, which is here on the right-hand side. And this is a building right off of Mockingbird. So the Brain Performance Institute is actually the application arm of the Center for Brain Health. So kind of think of it like Nike. You have Nike engineers, research and developers that create the greatest equipment in the world. They research and make sure what can we do to take athletes and adapt them to go to the next level. Once they prove that research, it goes over to the Nike training facility where Kobe Bryant or LeBron James, whatever famous athlete you know of, will go there and utilize their equipment to become an elite performer. The Brain Performance Institute has the exact same concept, but in neuroscience. So I like to say we're kind of like the neuroscience of Nike. So we bring individuals from all around the world, all walks of life, to our training center to empower them on a cognitive level. So who do we all help? We help corporations, athletes, student teachers who work with the NFL, and because of the text up top, which I'm probably going to read in a second because I'm looking at it. Yep, there it is. At the very top, there's a warrior program that we had an initiative started by the Wide Hill Foundation. Let's go to the next slide. So, just in the sake of time, I'm going to pass it over to Mike so he can kind of give you a glance of what our performance brain training is.
That's an amazing story, isn't it? I'm not going to bore you with mine. Mine's not quite as interesting. Frankly, I can't remember it. I usually don't take this opportunity, but I am going to today. Speaking of memory, Marine 2003, 2008, anybody that's in here, I was in the push through Fallujah in November, Haditha 2005, 2006, and then I was in Afghanistan, hatched in Warsaw in 2007. Ever since I've been out, people ask me who my lieutenants were and what odds I was at, and it's all been blurred to me. Right now, I have proof in the room that I did serve in the Marines. I went to boot camp with Brad Powell there. So, small world, 12 years ago. This time we were in boot camp learning what it is to be a rifleman at the Marine Corps. Thanks for being here. Strategic memory, advanced reasoning training. It's kind of irony there. I'm here talking about memory and reasoning. I can't remember my whole deployment. SMART has kind of been tested on numerous populations. It's kind of been tested time. It's our current product right now that we deliver at the Brain Performance Institute. You can truly change your brain with how you think. Let that marinate for a while. You can change your brain with how you think. No pill can do that. Luminosity, the way we're talking about it, can't do it. It's not Sudoku, it's not crossword puzzle. I talk about change your brain, I'm talking about creating new resources, creating new neural pathways in your brain, regeneration and resilience. You think about creating new neural pathways, it's like having more ingredients to actually cook with when you're making a meal. You're going to have a better meal. We want new connections. We want new pathways. We talk about regeneration and resilience. We talk about strengthening connections. The stronger something is, the more resilient it is. The quicker information travels, the more violent and stronger. So we make better decisions, more effective decisions quicker. It's called brain performance and brain health. And cultivating calm mind. This is big for warriors. This idea of using your brain the right way can cultivate a calm mind. We don't get as angry as easy. It takes us a little more to get agitated. And we don't. The traffic in the streets here in Dallas, especially the parking lot, is where we might get pissed off and cut somebody off. Excuse my language, but cultivating a calm mind. We attribute so much to everything else, but we never attribute what's going on in our brain, whether we forget something, we're tired, or angry, or whatever it is, we never attribute it to our actual brain. More importantly, how we use our brain. And that's one of the greatest things that we deliver to warriors across the nation, spouses, caregivers. We're doing it with, KeeShaun alluded to, corporations, executives, teams. We're bringing them education. Education on how the brain is wired to operate the way it loves to operate. That's huge. No one's ever told me that. They didn't tell me that in the Marine Corps. We all have now newer engineered our own way to think. Whether we think it's studying with the radiomics that helps us, but it's very bad. We know that. All of our brains are unique. We're figuring our own habits. But the education's not out there. We're just now scratching the surface on how the brain loves to operate, how it loves to learn, how it loves to interact with information. We're constantly absorbing and communicating information every day. How do we do it the most effective, efficient way possible? I'm not going to use this. I'm a big slide person. The other part is the practical tools. You talk about the strategies. You educate somebody, you give them awareness. You educate them on what's good for the brain, what's bad for the brain. You gotta give them tools to do something with it. So that's when we provide practical tools. have set up your environment to support what your goal is, your task at hand, so you can be the most effective when you're performing that task, so you can have the best brain performance. Right? And then that think big and abstract at a higher level, to use your whole brain instead of this bottom-up processing. It's abstracting higher level ideas, using your brain to its full potential, and then practicing mental flexibility. Those are what we're targeting. We're targeting the frontal lobe of the brain. Planning, reasoning, judgment, decision making, managing emotion, this is all done in the frontal lobe. Our frontal lobe is what makes us human. It's what separates us from other human beings, or other species, right? It's our CEO of our brain. Everybody wants to be better at these things. This is what we're training at the central brain of, more importantly, warriors. If we can strengthen connections, if we can increase blood flow, we're going to get better at all these things. It's huge. Huge. You can change your brain with anything. Do you have any questions on smart?
I know it wasn't like playing, but it's kind of off there. It's like almost like dropping the mic.
So this is what KeeShaun went through when he started getting better grades. Everything else.
It's true. It really is what
we got other people in the room that's been through it. And Lotus.
So the biggest picture that I would love for you guys to take away from here today is that, you know, when I interact with donors and billionaires and millionaires and we have our fancy dinners and stuff, you know, I always think about what they did to really shape our generation. You know, when we think about it, we've almost doubled the lifespan of our physical bodies, but we have yet figured out how we can keep our cognitive state up with our physical bodies. So it makes no sense of going doing CrossFit for the next 20 years if you're expecting to lose your cognitive ability when you turn 60 or 70. So what can we do to actually match our mental health to our physical health? So in addition, what is our generation, people sitting in this room, what are we millennials going to do to set the stage for the next generation? The torch has already been passed to us. So we have to have the ability to have critical thinkers, not build robots who regurgitate information and thinking that is going to actually move our society forward. We have to take every day, every second, every moment to make sure that we're empowering ourselves, our veterans, our communities, our leaders to propel us to the next greatest generation. So when we get ready to get close to retirement, we can say, this is what we did to move our organization, our company, myself, my family, our generation to the next level. With that, that really concludes our speech, and I guess I don't know the format, but we can open it up for questions. Yes. On the floor. Yes, sir.
You guys are older going to this. You mentioned students. What age range would this be appropriate for?
So the youngest we currently have is at the middle school program. We have a middle school brain years program where we train over 55,000 kids across 7 different states. Just kind of a testament to that, we went to one of the LSE low socioeconomic schools in Dallas, where their comprehension rate or standardized testing was around 30%. We trained a group of students, and at the end of that, they took the standardized testing in, and it was equivalent to that of Highland Park, private school in Highland Park. So the state of Texas really said, I don't know what the hell you just did with these middle school students, but we want this with everybody. So that's where we kind of see it at. I don't think we've done any research prior to middle school age, but Mike.
Middle school is when they funnel up starts emerging. So anything before that idea of rote learning or mechanical learning, repetition, that's all necessary, that's needed for generational knowledge, exercise knowledge. I'm not scientist by any means, so small disclaimer. There's sports and work, a lot of passion going back to the central brain. But middle school is when our funnel actually starts emerging, so that's why we're trying to get them there. But doing it before that, it's about 10 years old. Is the youngest we've gone.
We went all the way up to the age of at least 70, 65 or 70, and we still saw gains in individuals at a healthy age of 18. When I say gains, I guess I should get more clarity. We saw an increase in neuroplasticity, white matter connectivity. We also saw gains in brain blood flow. So the brain is just like a muscle, like I said, on those sciences. I graduated from accounting from JSON, so anybody needs help with debits and credits for homework, I got you. It's an intro to accounting. But we saw those gains in those individuals as well. So that's also the end of it.
How does one get involved in becoming a participant in this work? How do you get your candidates? And if one wants to participate, how do they go about to be involved in becoming?
Okay, you want to take that?
So we do have a website that people can register. Now for the warrior spouses, caregivers, we're partnering with other veteran service organizations, universities, just like the UJD who come here and serve student veterans here. There's typically a great point of contact like Lisa that does the recruiting, gets the veterans together, in a group facilitated classroom. We deliver the training there, 6 to 9 hours. Answer your question.
My question is, what are some of the things that are done, or what's some of the training, what's involved with that? What are some things you learn? Non-veterans sign up for this?
Absolutely. We all have a brand. We got to learn how to use it the right way and do it the most effective way. One of the big ones, I'll tag some off the team reasoning. Anybody here ever use a highlighter? Right? I know a digital highlighter. What happens after you read a page? Use a highlighter. Everybody has to use a page like me. Me and us as human beings, one of us person here. Human beings, we tend to overselect information. We want everything. We are consumed by information, especially with technology today. One of the great things we do with the teams, this idea of strategic attention, is we give them a Sharpie instead of a highlighter, and we tell them to mark out everything that's irrelevant, that's not important, that's repeating stuff they already know, so that left is what's important. You have to what's left is what's important, that's more manageable, digestible, then you can actually do something with that information. And that starts lending itself with the other strategies to actually understanding information instead of trying to overselect information. That's probably the most tactile answer I give you for example.
Do you find that the veterans that have, late teens, early 20s and have gone through traumatic events, does it change their brain? Is it ever reversible? I mean, will it always be scarred?
So this will be, I don't think I can say this for simple brand feedback. Personally, if something can change in one direction, you can always change it in another direction, go back, or even be better for it. I know everything I didn't do is a part of me, and I'm fine by it, but I'm stronger and more resilient for that. If there's a physiological change in the brain from a traumatic experience, and we know that that's just neurochemistry and everything else that's happening, it's not like a mental illness or anything, it's actually a change in the brain. And we also have science that shows the brain can change back. Always saying that this is going to cure or treat PTSD, TBI now, has been tested on traumatic brain injury, and showed for it. I can definitely talk about that all day offline.
Yes, ma'am.
So we know programs like Luminosity don't work because they're not applicable in daily cognition tasks. So how are your activities different than that? Is it mainly academic application, or is it application to just general cognition?
So with Lumosity, you really have more of a single process task that you do, so it's really math. If you do Lumosity, we think that's great because it really opens the conversation if you wanted to take charge of your brain health, so we're not bashing Lumosity. When it comes to things like planning, reasoning, novel thinking, decision making, Lumosity does not teach that. It can teach you how to put a yellow triangle to an orange frog 15 times and have you beat that score every single time, but when it comes to making those critical applications of thinking, it does not. So in the program, we actually challenge individuals like they did me from an academic standpoint or a literature standpoint to take information and think of a higher abstract meaning of that information, like summarizing. So if I was to ask somebody to tell me about the recent movie they just seen, most people would give, 90% of people would give you a detailed scene by scene of what movie they just saw. But how more impactful would it be if somebody gave you a bigger picture, abstract meaning of what that movie was about? But we want to dovetail on the actual application of it.
Yeah, so he's right about the Lumosity. It's targeting individual processing, so you're switching of your brain, you get better at those things. Your brain, anytime you do something, you're going to get better at it. Whether it's magazine switching in the military, but you keep doing something over and over again, you're going to get better at it. But there's no generalized spillover. You're not going to become a better decision maker, reasoning, or judging, anything like that. Taking a holistic approach of using your entire brain. When you see information comes into and then it starts going all the way to the back of the frontal lobe. If you don't do anything with that information, then you're not pushing that information back, creating pathways, and strengthening connections. So, in the training, we try to get people to use the whole brain. So, if you actually do read something, what are the top 2 biggest ideas? This is just for example, broken down, learning for body style. Just reading something, the top 2 high-level ideas that are in there. Get this high-level overview of it, and then adding your own knowledge and experience to that. So then you make that information your own. That's when you start remembering something. All your best friends that you lost, or anything, any joke that you remember, or some great time that you had, that's because you have some type of personal connection to it. You do that with information, conversations you have, sermons you listen to, books you read, magazines that you read. You're going to start remembering that information. Until your brain goes to learn on a high level. We tend to take the highlighter and insert everything. But we have that with headphones in. We tend to take in too much information, so kind of get rid of everything. For the brain, less is more.
So the 3 strategies that we teach, I'm pretty sure everybody's kind of wondering. We teach strategic attention, which really is the stuff in there everybody kind of generally knows. We teach integrative reasoning, that's really where the big abstract ideas come from. And then we also teach innovation, which is the last strategy. So those are the 3 cognitive strategies that we teach for individuals. That's also another thing. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so do you have trauma counselor and trauma therapists part of your process? Because with a lot of people who are not able to perform, it's either rooted in some traumatic events, like death, or there's some stressor. So when such a person comes to you, then how do you approach that root cause?
I really think, Mike probably does tell, I really think everything is really specific to that generation because everybody kind of has their own walk. Typically, if somebody comes into our organization, they're struggling from PTSD or saw that they had a severe TBI, we would normally defer them to the CGH side just so they can get a foundation built. I never personally recommend a veteran that's truly struggling to go straight into SMART training until they have a solid foundation to where they're stable. But this training is not counseling, so it's not we're in a little ring of fire singing kumbaya with each other. It's just really teaching an individual and empowering them to become a driver and mechanic of their own brain and building resiliency in the brain individually. But on our PTSD research side, that is therapy that they use, CPT, cognitive processing therapy, which is the gold standard for VA. We couple that with RTMS, repetitive transcranial magnetic stimulation, to see if we can shut down the amygdala side of the brain, having the physiological responses whenever you do go into a counseling session. If we can numb that part of the brain, can we get a better outcome for the individual? I know that was completely kind of left field what you asked, but it's kind of giving you kind of a sort of review of the PTS program is. But every veteran is completely different.
We had traumatic brain injury studies there, so if someone came in with traumatic brain injury, we'd offer the study to them or another resource. That's high performance brain training is SMART that we're talking about earlier. It's not meant to be a therapy or treatment for traumatic brain injury. Currently, it's not. Or post-traumatic stress. It has shown anytime you use something the right way, it tends to have a great effect. Whether that's a car, blender, anything, if you treat it right, you do treat it the way it's supposed to be used, it's going to last longer. My brain's the same way. So that's what we're trying to teach people, which has been seen from science and research. There's been a decrease in symptomatology of those symptoms, stress, anxiety, depression, all that. But it's not a treatment right now.
Yes, sir.
Has this been tested on people who are rehabilitating from a stroke?
No, I started with children with ADHD. They did healthy aging. They did military civilian traumatic brain injury. They're currently dealing with bipolar. And the reoccurring theme is that it's not population specific. It's truly that idea of educating your brain on how to use it, the way it was designed to. Is huge. It's not really population specific, but not necessarily stroke.
So, are you saying that they have like a counseling session, psychotherapy, and then at some point they go into the other testing? And then that's one question. Number two is, you just mentioned bipolar. Is your testing like this for bipolar, or is that more psychotherapy?
So we're talking about first question, since I'm first, I don't count it off. The post-traumatic stress study is a part of the central brain health, and that's just looking at veterans of OIF and OEF with post-traumatic stress. That's completely separate from what we're talking about here. And that is using cognitive processing therapy coupled with another neurostimulation. In regards to bipolar, they're basically taking this program, the high blood pressure and smaller, in a different format, but the same science, same strategies that I know I failed to make clear to everyone. They're trying to have bipolar currently in a research study.
This program.
Yes, sir. So we'll see. It's interesting. So we work on the brand, so people get someone that's on a family member with bipolar get money to hire to see.
One last question. So I know you said this is for the general population, but since we're talking about veterans today, have you guys had any research on doing this training pre-deployment and seeing if it has any effects on the way veterans come back?
We try to. It's very tough. Anyway, just getting an active duty stuff in general. We were able to give a brand physical to 40 Navy SEALs before they deploy, but once they come back, especially the special ops field, they just scatter. So obviously, we just got one back to 15. That would be ideal. Or we get every middle schooler to start thinking more critically in education on the learning. It's going to be a healthy individual is going to be able to use that. We currently haven't been able to do a study of one active duty because we can, but to track it when pre-deployment and afterwards, that's going to be tough as well. Ideally tough.
Let's thank our speakers.